excuse me, how do I know I'm doing the confirming of the removal of the distortion pattern correctly?
Yeah. So I would suggest focusing on completeness rather than correctness. Okay. So if you are doing it, trust that you're doing it because you are with your free will pushing it out.
Yes.
So you have to remember distortion patterns for some of us, especially with things that are really deep, there's not like one layer and like done, you know? That's not my experience at all, right? No. Some of us have like literally like thousands of these suckers, right? Like it's like literally layers and layers and layers and layers of filters. So the thing is, because when people think, oh, I didn't do that correctly, I'm screwed because it still shows up for me. That's usually what the thought is, right? Like, oh, I didn't do that right. It may not be about doing it right. So meaning, if you're being accountable, you see the distortion patterns, you push it out of your field, and it shows up again, it's not that you screwed up necessarily. It's just that you're hitting different layers of it. And so you're just addressing
little
them.
Tests.
Yeah, exactly.
That might come up again. I've had that for sure.
Sure, yeah. And it's like, are you strong enough? Like, how can you hold your space? Can you do whatever it is that you're being required to not have that distortion pattern have as much pull on you? And more than a test, it's not like you're being tested by someone else. You're testing yourself. Right. You know what I mean? Because like being tested sounds like, you know, you're being punished by something else. It's of yourself. Yeah, exactly. So the test is like for yourself. Are you strong enough and to be able to see that distortion pattern and push it out like you mentioned at the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is what can come up. And it's not that, like, again, it's not about correctness, more about complete, right? So to notice it and push it out. And it takes a lot of self-awareness and vigilance. Okay. Nice. And it's totally okay that you, as you say, if you have that GFC confirming the removal of the distortion pattern, you can do it in the past. So you don't have to worry about it, you know, because sometimes in that question is implicitly like fear, like, did I screw it up? Yeah. Can I screw it up? I'm like, no, you can't screw it up. No. If you're being self-aware and vigilant, no.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So the next question is, am I supposed to feel anything during the GFC?
Well, it depends who you are. Okay. So at first, when I started, I actually didn't feel that much, like personally. It's like, yeah, exactly. I'm like meditating, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. But I knew something had shifted. That's what I felt. I was like, I just know somehow on some level. And then as my resonance cleared, because my distortion patterns started to come away, I started to feel more. And I was like, whoa. Starting to feel more. And people feel things differently, right? Yeah. So like my husband Chris feels things physically. So he'll feel goosebumps or chills, or he'll feel heat, or he'll feel tingly, or he'll feel something like in the body. For me, it's changed a lot over the years, but it can be like, it gets a little trippy, but like for me, what I feel when I feel myself being worked on as an individual, and then I feel the impact of that in the oneness. So I'm feeling multiple things and I can feel it through my lineage. So I'm feeling a lot of things at the same time. Yeah. So I can feel it like within me, through the lineage, the oneness, through Chris, like it's all of these points. Wow. And if I think about it, I like kind of jack the system, right? But if I'm really soft, I can feel all of that happening. It's like all rippling out, and it gets a little wilder because then as I'm changing and say, for example, Chris is shifting because he's in response to me, I can feel the oneness then in response to these two beings shift, like, because we're in a mastermind shifting. It's wild. Wow. It's not just, do you know what I mean? We think we're all by ourselves doing our little thing. We are kind of, but we're not. We're like, we're all intertwined together. So it's like saying, I don't know, like how do you pull, I don't know, like one thread out of a ball of lint? You know what I mean? It's like, it's hard. Everything's, you know? So it's similar. And so, and people experience different, I mean, like your experience is different too,
Very
right?
different. I seem to be more on Chris's level at this point. The first one, I didn't feel anything. And then pretty much the second and onward has just gotten stronger of like immediate, like, kind of like acupuncture. Yeah. Like if someone has had acupuncture and the bunch of the needles are in, like that feeling. Of the energy moving. Yeah, and it's pretty strong and it's pretty quickly for me. Yeah. And same with acupuncture. Maybe your first time, I've seen people, they don't feel the chi. And then they've been getting it for a little while longer, and everybody's different, how fast or whatever. But
and some people feel different things. Like some people will see colors. Some people will feel stuff being pulled out of them. Some people will feel whatever. I mean, it's all your own experience.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And like sometimes I'll go into little visions, I've told you. Like, you know how you get in that sleepy state. Yeah. And I had a vision of you like pulling off a necklace that was broken and you just threw it to the ground.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. I felt like, okay, that's gone.
Yeah. Some people will like have imagery.
Imagery, yeah.
Some people will hear sound. This is all not required, by the way. I mean, this is everyone's own like personal experience of that. So this doesn't mean that you're failing if you're not having any of these experiences, okay, at all. Sometimes Chris is just like, okay, that was good. You didn't feel anything. And that's all right.
And it's still doing
doing the work. Whether you are physically aware of it is irrelevant because it's happening at a much higher level of resonance.
Great.
Yeah.